other day, picking up something at the big box store and over the PA system. Hi, this is Drew Brees, your Lowe's representative. And he's going off on some product. So Joe and I were sitting here brainstorming, and we said, why don't we call Drew Brees? And we came up with $14,900, almost 15 grand. He said we were hoping you could do it for under 15,000. It was 14.9. And he did that shout out, and Joe was thanking him, and he just heard the phone hang up. Like he's got other stuff going on. That was from the compound in La Jolla, right outside of San Diego. A lot of people say sort of like Kenner to New Orleans, La Jolla, similar to Kenner. Corey Johnson with you, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you're right. The weekend's upon us. Rain or shine. You know the old saying, Joe, a good day fishing, a bad day fishing's better than a good day working. Bad day playing golf's better than a good day working. Rainy weekend's better than a sunny weekday. No, it's not. No, it is. I'll take the rainy weekend over the sunny work day. Everybody needs a break. It's Friday, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Looks like some rain tonight. Maybe tomorrow would just sort of be cloudy. And then Sunday looks like a typhoon's coming in or something, like lots of rain on Sunday. So much rain on Sunday, such confidence in the meteorologists and at least this forecast that 36 hours out, they've canceled the St. Patrick's Day parade on Metairie Road. They canceled that bad boy. No St. Patty's Day parade. I think it's pushed back, I want to say April 7th, a few weeks from today. Anyway, no St. Patty's Day parade. The race, the run will take place Saturday, rain or shine. The hell with you runners. You're running in a typhoon. Get at it. No, we're not throwing cabbage, but you're running. Boy, an audit. You know I love the IG, Office of Inspector General, City of New Orleans. I love the IG's office when there's an effective watchdog, pit bull type, apolitical, doing his or her job at a tenacious pace. And that is exactly what we have. I swear, the only concern I have with the IG's office, it's nothing about any kind of agenda going after the wrong people. It's Ed Michel burning himself out. He's like Bob Sarasoli, the guy that started the office. He does not stop, just churning out audit investigation report after audit investigation report, just over and over and over again. Hiring more people, hiring more staff, just producing. I mean, you look at Do Nothing, Derry Harper. You remember that joker, the old IG? That guy was politically connected. He's looking for like a free meal on someone's credit card. It was a joke. Like the Jefferson Parish Office of Inspector General. It's a joke. There are no audits, investigation reports ever coming out of there. Rarely, if at all. They had one about 2 months ago, and you won't see another one for a year. No, it's politically run. It's the money's controlled by the council in Jefferson Parish or the president. It's not good. It is not set up in an autonomous fashion like the New Orleans office, believe it or not. Bob Sarasoli, the guy that basically wrote the book on this stuff. He was the IG, the auditor, the CPA for the Big Dig in Boston. He was the one like inferior concrete, overspending. You know, he was the one reviewing this thing. No, he came down here and built a strong foundation for this office. And Ed Cotreveau is just sort of long in the tooth, as Jim Finks would say. But boy, Ed Michel gets it. He's Bob Sarasoli Jr. He gets it. He's focused. He's tenacious, apolitical, doesn't care black, white, Republican, Democrat, just goes where the investigation audit should be. No, I love it. So I'm a big fan of the Office of Inspector General. The feds, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, the Office of Inspector General did an audit on $141 million in federally funded projects. Federally funded means the feds are paying for it. It's all flood protection projects for New Orleans. How long have I been saying this we be digging thing lately, and just the general premise of that idea, digging retention ponds all over the city for years and years. Now it's we be digging, dig retention ponds and plant trees, dig small holes for trees, dig big holes for retention ponds. That's all New Orleans should be focused on almost. Obviously all the crap, but I'm talking about where the new focus should be. Plant trees every day, all the time. Dozens and dozens of people, if not a dozen crews of people, like a few hundred folks, planting trees and plants 7 days a week, all the time. And we should be digging bigger holes for retention ponds all the time. $141 million for retention ponds, for storm water projects, for water feature, water retention ponds. Eight projects, 0 breaking ground. Mirabeau just broke ground about 3 months ago. This is 7 years later. Hey, New Orleans, here's $141 million to dig retention ponds, to take some of the pressure off your broken, messed up sewage and water board, your antiquated, beat up old sewage and water board and all its 25 hertz, 60 hertz turbine 4 crap. Get some, take a little pressure off of that and have some retention ponds hold some of that water. Here's $141 million, which that's 7 years ago. So I don't know what 141 million is today. It ain't 141 million. It's probably under 100 million today. What the 141 million will get you. 7 years later, regular inflation, throw in Corona, everything's expensive now. That 141 million is like half. That's 70 million. You can't do half the projects now. Can't do half the projects, I guarantee you. Poor planning, according to the audit. Misallocation of funds, according to the audit. Lack of workers. What is that? Lack of workers, seriously. There aren't construction companies that can hire laborers to work their equipment or use shovels and dig retention ponds all over the city. Lack of workers to spend the money that's already there. 141 million of federal money. 7 years later, nothing done really. No, the city, terrible. 0 money in play. No flood protection, retention ponds dug, no jobs. Think about the jobs. Hundreds, if not a few thousand jobs, if you're talking 141 million. Let's get on it all at once. Let's spend this loot really quick, prove how effective it is, come up with another 8 projects and try to get 141 million more. Audit says the city just hadn't done anything. There was one little project they did where it made flooding worse in that area, literally. Like the project's a big failure. They have to cancel a couple of projects now for lame reasons. Just really, really bad when flooding is one of our major problems. I keep telling everybody, too, we get the sewage and water board running like state of the art. Everything's brand new. Biden's going to spend billions with a B. We're going to pump out 1 inch of rain the first hour, a ½ inch after that. Best case scenario. So when a deluge happens, which is going to happen a few times a year, right? It's New Orleans. We're going to flood. We have retention ponds coupled with the sewage and water board system. We shouldn't. It would have to be just catastrophic type rain. Hey, on this Fantasy Friday, 4 o'clock hour, brought to you by Helm Paint and Decorating, 7 New Orleans locations with free 2-hour delivery, high quality Benjamin Moore products, and now 4 Baton Rouge locations of Helm Paint and Decorating. You heard me right, Tiger Town. 4 Helm Paint and Decorating locations, 2-hour free delivery, high-quality Benjamin Moore products. When you got to paint in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, Helm Paint and Decorating. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc. About 15 minutes away. Coming up in an hour, the 5 o'clock Power Hour, Fantasy Friday. Frank Brigtsen will join us as usual. I love that segment. Just listening to Frank talk about food. I just tossed out a question. Crawfish bag? Boom, 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 man, he's going. And it is great great information. He's just nice pace. He's humble. He's James Beard award-winning chef that knows what he's talking about. 50 plus years of experience. Just casual, laid back. You know, when you think about this stuff, I don't know about you. I try to think about life and these chapters that we live in, and sometimes you don't even know the page is turning. Frank Brigtsen has been at it for 38 years. I don't know his schedule at all, and I'm not saying this like I do know it, and I'm going to say I don't on the air. I'm telling you the truth. I have no idea, but I'm 50-something. Frank's got to be 60-something. Frank might cook till he's 90. I have no idea. I doubt it. You know, it's probably closer to the end than anywhere near the middle of the beginning. And that's for a lot of folks. You know, I look at like Susan Spicer more at Rosedale out in the Lakeview area than Bayona on Dauphine. You know, that's a little more chill. It's easier. You're not in the quarter. It's not the high-end joint. It's the middle-end joint. You know, that kind of stuff. Still great food. Still Susan Spicer at her best. You got to really, you know, smell the roses and kind of really appreciate things that are in front of you because they change so often. Joe, my dopey butt's driving down like Maple Street, and it's been like, what's the little pizza joint place like on Maple and Adams across from the bakery and all that? Next, a few doors down from Jimmy John's, next door to Maple Street Cafe. It's like, geez, I can't think what it is.
Fresco?
That's
it.
Okay, it's been Fresco for like, what, a decade, 15 years? It was something else before that for a while. Like, this is how whacked I am. Like 25 years ago, like 2000, it shut down before I had moved. I remember I lived on Pitt Street. So that was probably like 02, 01. And they had just shut down. I was like, great. I moved right here and they shut. Maple Gardens was the name of the Chinese restaurant right there. It was just unreal. They had these ribs and this barbecue pork that came in this, like, the sauce was like purple almost. And it was like the Tung Cho sauce at Treyen sort of, but kind of more sweet and sugary, kind of more candy-like, a little simpler, I think. But I would dip anything fried in it. Like, it was just, you get the ribs and the pork, just to have extra of that sauce. You'd spring rolls, egg rolls, butterfly shrimp, you know, just all this stuff. And then good entrees. So like, I think about things like that. I think about like Ugelsich's, you know, down in Central City. And it's been gone for almost 20 years. China Blossom on the West Bank, which was like some folks that were connected to Treyen, gone for 20 years. Mandich, St. Claude and Louise, it's like some laundromat or something. I don't even know what it is. Restaurant Mandich, gone for like 20 years. No, these things, these chapters in life, and these are long-standing places. I'm not talking about, hey, man, have you been down to the trendy joint on Magazine, Joe? And the line's long, and then 3 months later, the line's not so long, and 3 months later, they're having an argument. 3 months later, they're closed. Trend over with. Restaurant business, bar business, better chance of failing than making it. I don't know what the percentage is. 3, 4 to 1, 5 to 1. Very hard to make it. Plus, you can't just get hammered all the time if you work at the bar and sit around and smoke cartons of cigarettes. And at the restaurant, you can't just drink at the bar and, you know, snack on stuff and hobnob. You have to work. So it's tough.
I still miss post-Katrina food trucks, by the way. Like,
there are a lot of those, though, huh?
They opened restaurants. I remember Nathaniel Zimmett is a well-known restaurateur now, but I remember his purple food truck outside of, you know, all kinds of restaurants, and then he ran Bouri and whatnot. But I miss the purple food truck.
Well, yeah, but you know, that's the whole deal, though. The truck launched them to the restaurant. They built up the cash, they stuck it in the piggy bank, and then they got the restaurant lease. And what you loved about the truck is now in the restaurant. There's still a lot of trucks under the interstate, like across from Ray Nagin's Home Depot on like Earhart and Claiborne's, behind the shut down, stolen metal recycling place. There's like 3 or 4 under there. It's like, you know, I'm waiting for that Anchorman 2 battle, where they're all going to have like teams of 5 just with saws and all kind of weapons and a big fight under there for like, Latino food truck supremacy, man. It's like 3 or 4 different ones. I guess they're doing their own thing. We have to do a food truck location show one day, Joe. It is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. I think I've got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates available. Interesting dynamic on this program. Joe and I get along fine. He, of course, is voting for Donald Trump. Was Donald Trump ever planning to build a Trump Tower here in New Orleans? Get up off the floor, Joe. We have a program to do. Was Donald Trump planning to build a Trump Tower here in New Orleans? Give me the answer to that. I've got $50 for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. 2 on the South Shore, 2 on the North Shore, right outside of Baton Rouge. Really in Baton Rouge towards New Orleans, by the Mall of Louisiana, off Blue Bonnet. Was Trump planning to build a Trump Tower here in New Orleans? I thought that Super Bowl commercial with Arnold Schwarzenegger was funny, with all the A's instead of the ERs. And he just keeps repeating and like, what? Hey, the secondary site for the Superdome. You have to have a secondary site for a $63 million stadium that cost, I think, like $150 when it was done. $160 when it was done. Back in 75. What was the alternative site, the secondary site for the Louisiana Superdome? Give me the answer to that. I've got $50 for you. Good at the Woodhouse Day Spa, 5 area locations. No one answered oldest continuously operated streetcar line in the world. Someone was curious if the cable cars in San Francisco, because it's a cable under the street that pulls the car up the hill. That seems safe, Joe. That's worked for centuries or century plus. It's safe as can be, I guess. But my God, that's just the runaway cable car. Guess they got some serious brakes whenever it's not on the hook to the cable. Anyway, that does count as a streetcar. If you have the answer to any of these questions, I've got $50 for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. The Rouse's Markets phone lines are open. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. 504, of course. The infamous 504. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines. 766-9480. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc.'s about 5 minutes away. Frank Brigtsen will be talking food with us in the 5 o'clock power hour on this Fantasy Friday. Last night, another Jeff Landry, the governor, his task force to reform the Sewerage and Water Board, public meeting, a lot of public outcry, a lot of public complaining. This is good. This is good. I think Gus and Corbett with the Sewage and Water Board, totally, it's not like he's hiding this in some New Orleans political game where some hack was appointed or anointed. I've said it before. I'm not a big fan of this mayor, but I give her credit the very few times that she deserves credit, and hiring Goslin Corbin, getting him from Milwaukee, a guy with 30 years experience in that business, not like Mitch Landrieu with the Cedric Grant appointed, anointed political hack, part of the New Orleans political system. That joker pulls $180 a year in retirement, Joe. $180. $180. Folks, like I would say 90% of the New Orleans population safely can sit here listening, watching this program. 90% of Louisiana never made $180 in a year in my life. Never made $180 in a year in my life. Like 90+% of us never made $180 in a year in my life. I won the lottery one year and didn't make $180, you know? Geesh. This guy, this joker, This anointed, appointed, just hack that zero expertise on anything yet. Appointed, anointed to run all kind of stuff, including the Sewage and Water Board. I know more about the Sewage and Water Board. I dare Cedric Grant to call this program with his $180,000 retirement. You should just chill in the easy chair. Just chill there. Don't call the program. It would be bad. Just the talk show guy abused the Sewage and Water Board former executive director. He knew more about it. Terrible. Joseph, where am I heading? What do you mean straight to the slammer? That's terrible. Let's go to Metairie instead, a.k.a. New Orleans West on a Friday. Every day, home of traffic, lots and lots of traffic. Bobby is in Metairie. Bobby, is it Metairie or Metairie? How do you pronounce it?
I say Metairie, M-E-T-R-Y.
Woot, there it is. What's up, Bobby?
I'm trying to give you an answer on that Superdome deal, the second location.
I want an answer on life, the questions of life. Bobby?
Yeah.
You have any of those?
No.
No, you have no. How old are you, Bobby?
I'm 82.
82, and you have not one single answer on life?
No, I'm ready to leave life now, Corey. I'm up to 82.
Come on, Bobby. Why don't you go for the 100? Go for the 100.
Yeah, you're right.
You can do it.
Make it.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Life's good in Metairie, isn't it?
Would that answer for the Superdome be the City Park?
We will move on from that. City Park. That is a good guess, Bobby, but incorrect. Wrong.
Okay, well, gave it a try.
Hell yeah, you gave it a try. 82
Thank
years
you,
young, Bobby.
All right, man. Goodbye.
All right. Well, Bobby's out of there. About to ask him if he was married or anything, Joe, but that is out the window. I wanted my gift certificate later. City Park. It's a good guess. I think City Park is, I want to say, oh, buddy. Let's see. City Park's 1,300 acres, I want to say, Joe. Something like that. The airport, I think, is 1,800 acres. New Orleans facts that basically are worthless to have in your mind. Taking up space. I think that's better, Joe, as a talk show host in New Orleans. What do you think's better, honestly? Knowing that City Park's about 1,300 acres and the airport's about 1,800 acres in Kenner, or that Donnie Most played Ralph Malph on Happy Days?
I think they're both invaluable.
Honestly, though, like on a talk radio program, they're probably equal. Seriously.
Yeah, probably.
It's pretty damn cool. He knows that the redhead dude on Happy Days is Donnie Most. Well, the sad part is everyone like 50 and under going, what the hell's Happy Days? Donnie who?
Hey, with the square footage, I've been measuring it with a ruler day by day.
Yeah.
And I still haven't gotten there.
And well, Joe, let's Google it to see how off Corey Johnson was. City Park, I say 1,300 acres approximately. Airport, 1,800 acres in Kenner. They have absolutely nothing to do with each other, but you know, I'm going to use this saying too, Joe.
You know. City Park, 1,300 acre public park.
Kaboom goes the dynamite. I'm giving myself a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. Come on, 1,800 for the airport. Come on, 1,800.
So close, but 1,500 acres.
Damnation. That's it. 1,500 acres. I know it's like, I want to say 3 square miles. Is that right? Something like that. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, about
3 square miles. You know what Denver's airport sits on? 50 square miles.
Yeah, it's a complex.
Google it, Joe. How many square miles does Denver International sit on?
There are all kinds of conspiracy theories about their airport, but
I remember when they first opened it, literally shut down Stapleton. My buddy worked at Stapleton, right away he's working at the new airport. I remember driving off the exit. You're just going down this road in like Kansas. You think you're in Kansas. You're just in, eastern Colorado, which is a lot like Kansas. Flat as can be, no mountains. And you're driving down this road for like 15 miles. And then all of a sudden there's like a gas station. Then all of a sudden like a hotel. And then kaboom, this brand new airport. From what I understand, Joe, the road leading up to that airport now has stuff on either side of it, the entire 15 miles. Just restaurants, gas stations, even like apartments, all kind of stuff.
52 square miles.
Kaboom goes the dynamite. Johnson's on fire right now, Joe. Johnson is on fire. Donnie Most.
Ding, ding, ding. What do we have for her, Johnny?
We've got Donnie Most on Happy Days as Ralph Mouth. Actually, Joe, let's take a break. We're coming right back. You've missed absolutely nothing. We got a good show, though. Michael Hecht next.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
We hear a story every other day about
Corey Johnson
eating a baby. Why?
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Running free, eating the baby's feet.
Wow. I just never get over that introduction ever. It always kind of throws me off a little bit. Corey Johnson back at you on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Always love getting this guy on. This segment, by the way, brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant. They are hiring right now because all this company does is grow around the world. Born, bred, based right here out of New Orleans. You live on the East Bank or West Bank, they got about 1,400 employees under the UEP Long Bridge, and they're looking for you to join them. You live on the North Shore, right off I-12, Latrim's North Shore facility, a few hundred employees. They're looking for a few hundred more. Go online, latrim.com, for a full listing of positions available. Latrim spelled Laitram, latrim.com. Michael Hecht's with us again from Greater New Orleans, Inc. What up, Miguel?
Not much, KJ. I'll tell you, that introduction reminded me that there's a really, really crucial bill going through the legislature this session, which will make it criminal to import sex dolls of children under 12 in Louisiana.
All right. And what's that got to do with the shrimp peeling machine?
You're sweating, Corey.
What's that got to do with the interlocks, the all plastic modular conveyor belt? Hey, all kidding aside, Michael.
It was the part about you eating babies. It was like, that's what made me.
Oh, gosh, that was the segue. Oh, all right.
I'm not trying to imply anything. I don't let the record show. I don't think that this bill was in any way aimed at Corey Johnson.
Well, they can look into that if they'd like to. I think I always say, Michael, it's like, no, if you want to get like somebody mad at me wants to have like a private investigator follow me around, they're going to be just napping and getting fat on sandwiches and like, this guy just doesn't really do much that would warrant anything of raising an eyebrow. I don't live a boring life. I just live a legal one. That's all.
No, I agree. I'm a guy who pays his parking tickets, and I just do it just because, I don't know. I just figure in the long term, it's just easier. Like right now, I'm caught up in this hell of short-term rental applications with the city. And, you know, we have 2 rooms in our house that we try to short-term rental totally as it was intended, adding inventory to the market. We're the only one on the block. And it's just been so difficult. And I'm thinking, you know, this is why there's 2-to-1 illegal to legal, because it's very difficult being legal in this town, but I do it because I'm just not good at the illegal part.
No, me neither. And plus, you know, what was the best thing someone told me decades ago about lying? It's like you have to remember the lie, like the truth.
No, I'm a terrible liar, right? It's not a moral thing for me. If I was good at lying, I would lie all day. I would be a total, you know, lying machine, but I can't. I just fail because I'm too scattered, so it falls apart very quickly.
You want to know how bad of a liar I am as far as not that I can't lie? I can't do the fake joke thing, like lead someone on that's for like 20, 30, 40, 50 seconds of something that's not true to like, shock them at the end. I can't, like, I'm lying to them and this is how you lie. I can't do it. Anyway, thanks, Michael. We'll see you next week. That was brought to you by Latrim. That's our segment. We're not worrying about any kind of economic growth. That was the segment about lying. We were supposed
to Henry Rollins.
Yeah, we were supposed to end it with the Fat Albert, you know, episode, the lie chasing Fat Albert down the hill, but because of Bill Cosby's shenanigans, we don't mention Fat Albert anymore on the program. All right, you ready to get into it for real now, Miguel?
This is turning into the Eric Andre show.
Well, have you ever had any kind of experience at all with Newell Norman like this?
No, he's got a guy that tries to kind of like do that, like play like the music, but it's usually like, you know, like some like David Bowie or, you know, or Duran Duran. It's kind of definitely more between the 40-yard lines, not like Black Flag or whoever that was.
And our show, we would be describing it as funny, not full of jocularity. Wouldn't that be... All right.
I just appreciate Michael Hecht's Henry Rollins knowledge, by the way.
That's Corey. Pretty damn impressive. Yep. He's a.
Did I get that right? Was I right?
Ding, ding, ding.
Kaboom goes the dynamite. You're going to have to give Joe your information during the break, and we're going to send you a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. Damn. Michael Hecht is on fire right now. All right, Miguel, you ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
What was your letter to the editor all about? It's just time to put down the shenanigans. Let's get a port terminal built. Let's get an access road built. Let's move forward on this Louisiana International Terminal. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Yeah, well, that was written by Christy App, who is one of our board members, but she actually is in logistics. She does this for a living. And I think she just got tired of it. I think she just got tired of all of these false arguments about why we don't need the port and how it's going to destroy, St. Bernard and the region. And I think she said, it's that it's one thing for me to speak out as an economic developer, but I'm kind of paid to do this. She said, you know what, I'm going to go and speak out and do this, as a real user. And so I thought it was a very powerful, letter really written from the heart. And it's gotten a lot of very positive feedback for everybody.
Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. What do you just say, Michael, to somebody? I had a little snippet from my program. I reposted it on Twitter, bunch of comments. I live right by there in Violet. I like it just how it is. Like, what do you say to someone like that? I mean, I'm just saying it's, life changes. There's progress. You live in Violet near a big open space on the river. It's inevitable. It could be developed someday. I don't know. What do you say to people?
Well, I don't even say that. I say that I live, like where I'm talking to you right now, I'm 4 blocks from the current container facility. I mean, I am a neighbor of the container facility. And I can tell you, I've been here 20 years. It doesn't impact our quality of life.
You don't even know it's there.
You don't even know it's there, basically. Occasionally, let's be fair, occasionally in the middle of the night, you'll hear a container being dropped. But it's just kind of like, it's almost comforting. It's like the wildlife is out there. So, no, for those people who are saying that this is going to somehow destroy the parish, it's from my own lived experience, it's just not true.
No, and a lot of these same folks would love a 200-employee expansion of a chemical or oil and gas refinery down there. So I'm like, this is clean, it's green, it's jobs, this future expansion. This is over years and years and decades. Anyway, Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. We're taking a quick break, coming right back with a slew of topics. Don't move.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville, the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Yeah, you, right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a Fantasy Friday. Hey, if you're beelining across the causeway right now, in 7 minutes, I'm sure they'll take your order right now. In 7 minutes, Trey Yen officially opens. That's right, 5 o'clock. Trey Yen opens their doors for dinner, and that means curbside delivery too. Imagine walking in the door, mom, dad, the kids, very fired up to see a big box to-go order, not Chinese food, Chinese cuisine, Trey Yen in Mandeville, curbside delivery, 985-626-4476, 626-4476. Fire in a big to-go order at Trey Yen in Mandeville. I know it's Lent, one of the great seafood restaurants around here. I'm not kidding you, Trey Yen in Mandeville. Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. He's been to Trey Yen in Mandeville.
I have. It was fantastic.
Yep.
Give me some shrimp toast.
Yep. Boy, this what is it? The honey pecan shrimp, Michael. It's an entree. I like when there's like 3 or 4 people, I get the entree as an appetizer. Just these plump shrimp in this honey sauce with these glazed pecans. Just really works perfect, the pecans and the shrimp. Anyway, I'm going to talk food with Frank Brigtsen in 30 minutes. You ready for some? We got 7 minutes to knock out a bunch of topics. You ready?
Let's do it. Speed round. Let's do it, my friend. I'm ready.
All right.
And ready.
Airport voted number 1.
3rd year in a row, mid-sized airport, 5 to 15 million people. We've come a long way. It's something to celebrate. Employments are back to 2019. International up 25%.
I'm slowing things down a little bit. Real quick, Padraig Harrington, a great pro, golfer, PGA pro. He had some advice where amateurs need to step into it, pick up their left foot and step into it like baseball. It's the absolute worst advice ever. So this pro is wrong. I love Peely the architect. I love the look of the airport. I'm just telling you, Michael, how is not an extended roof line at departures? Like when it rains, everyone gets wet. I mean, we blew that with the first airport. We put a roof up. That one didn't work when the rain came sideways. We put a roof above that roof. We build $1 billion airport and the architect doesn't understand that it rains 65 inches a year. And then lastly, we've mentioned this before, no people movers, and maybe what's worse, no room for people movers. I don't get it.
Well, I think the first thing is probably because one of the challenges of working with a architect like Cesar Pelli, and this was his last work before he passed away, is that they're designing for their vision and portfolio less than for the conditions sometimes. So, there are things about the airport that are not necessarily ideal. Like the whole thing is totally bone white, making it difficult to keep clean. But as far as the people movers, that was a cost issue. As far as there being room for the people movers, that's an interesting one. I don't really know what the thought was behind that, because it can be a long way to the end of the corridor.
Yes,
it's actually true.
It is. I'm just all right. You know me. I'm just finding those negatives. I love the airport.
God, I bring you a giant sunflower, and you find a ladybug inside and say, "Ooh, a beetle."
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like you're giving me a gold brick, and I crack it open, and it's a gold brick egg. You know, oh boy. Hey, Michael, I saw this story and it gets confusing. There's like 25 million. I think it's 24.5 million for Lincoln Beach to get redone. Then I see Troy Carter, 4 million for the bridge from the parking lot to the beach. And then the story's sort of convoluted. I don't know if it's an additional 4. It's part of the 24.5. Regardless, they're putting up like exactly like what I can tell from the renderings. It looks like Crescent Park, the tower with the stairs and the elevator, a bridge going over the flood wall and the train tracks. And in this case, it'll be flood wall, train tracks, and Hain Boulevard, to another tower on the property, Crescent Park downtown. This will be Lincoln Beach with an elevator and stairs. So I don't know if it's 28 million now or 24.5, whatever, but I like that rendering and the parking lot coming back into play that's still there, and that sort of Crescent Park elevator stairwell tower over Hain Boulevard, the flood wall, the tracks, making it safe to access it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fantastic. It's a lot of money for a bridge, but at least this is a bridge to somewhere.
Well,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Out the east, you got those 2 to nowhere. Don't get me started. I think we should have developers develop a few hundred acres on either side, have to redevelop some wetlands, maybe 2 or 3 times that amount, and have a little development there with, the boat in the backyard and the, driveway and the street in the front yard, kind of Venetian Isles type thing. Get those bridges in play and those exits in play.
Yeah, it's kind of nice out there. It's really,
exactly.
Really see the potential, and I think it's really important for the New Orleans East community to bring that back. So I hope it happens.
I don't know. We'd have to work it through the feds to get some of that Bayou Sauvage. Hey, we're going to take 500-600 acres, but these developers are going to create 2,000, whatever.
Right.
Hey, what about the 141 million in retention ponds? No ponds, no jobs. You saw this audit from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. 7 years, 8 projects, 0 started. They did start Mirabeau. Boy, come on, New Orleans. That's federally funded, Michael, free cash.
Corey, it's criminal incompetence. I can't say it any other way. I can't spin it except to say that it is one thing to receive money. It is another thing to be able to actually deploy that money. And we have failed that.
Yep. I'd say let's end it on a positive note, but Metro New Orleans had the largest population decline since 2020 than any other city in the U.S. Jeez and Pete's.
Yeah, that is not quite. I mean, it's lousy, but not quite as bad as it sounds. Basically, what happened is that we lost the North Shore. Like our MSA used to be the South Shore and the North Shore, only with Hammond excluded. But now, because there are more people staying on the North Shore post-COVID, we lost that. And so now they're 2 separate MSAs.
Wait. You're telling me Mandeville, Covington, Slidell, not part of Metro New Orleans anymore?
Not the official MSA.
Wow, that's absurd.
We would not have been the worst in the country because St. Tammany grew.
Yeah. Michael Hecht, that's Blue Boy. That's a big positive way to end the segment. I'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yep, happy St. Patrick's Day. That's Michael Hecht, Greater New Orleans. That's Blue Boy. Stick around.
On the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m. For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your color so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art & Eyes. Art & Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art & Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville, the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
So politically incorrect. Listen to this fat man. Clearly just making fun of obese people. I mean, clearly she's saying fat man. Listen to that fat man. Now even starts teasing. Listen to this next part of the song. Nanny, nanny, nanny. Listen to this. This is sickening. Check out the teasing part. We had enough of that. We weren't going to allow at the end to say, fat man. That was Mr. Drew Brees with the introduction. It is a little bit after 5 p.m., a Fantasy Friday edition of the program, 5 o'clock power hour. We like smelling the roses this very moment. We like putting a spotlight on this very moment. 100% of the work week in the books, 100% of the weekend smack dab in front of you. We highlight this time by blowing the 5 o'clock whistle. We highlight this time by blowing the 5 o'clock whistle, question mark? There she blows the 5 o'clock whistle appropriately. Brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Why aren't you at Katie's right now in Mid-City? The Pels are playing the Clippers. The Pels are the 5th seed in the West. The Clippers are the 4 seed. The Clips have a 3-game lead for that 4 seed over the Pels with about 17 games left. It can be from 3-game lead to 2-game lead just like that. It wouldn't be a half. It would be a whole. You're beating that team. That would be a big win tonight at the Smoothie King Center, the blender. The Pels going at it. Or you can go sit down at a comfortable table, great service, great New Orleans food, large portions, great for sharing. Enjoy all that and enjoy the Pels and Clips on the flat screen TVs at Katie's. Yeah, why aren't you at Katie's right now? As New Orleans as it gets. Iberville, Corner Telemachus. It's St. Patty's Day weekend. They do it in style at Katie's on Sunday. No parade. Katie's has it going. Why aren't you at Katie's right now? Go check out the Pels on the flat screen. Go get dinner tonight. Katie's in Mid-City. Speaking of parade, St. Patty's Day, Metairie Road, Old Metairie. The St. Patrick's Day Sunday parade postponed, I think April 7th, 3 weeks. You can check on that future date. I think I got it right. But Sunday's parade is canceled. The road race will take place. We don't care if you runners get all wet, but we ain't throwing cabbage. Anyway, St. Patty's Day parade is canceled on Metairie Road on Sunday. Not good. That sucks. I mean, it really does. People plan stuff all year long. I'm glad they're just moving it so everybody gets to do it then. Now you plan, the expenses, and then weather knocks it out. But if they're canceling it 36 hours in advance, I mean, they have a lot of trust in the meteorologist prediction, and that's how things are. It's like hurricane season. What used to be like a day prediction is now like 3 days. What used to be 3 days is now like 7 to 10. That's how weather is getting better and better and better. So Sunday just looks like a lot of rain. Today's rain's supposed to stop. Tomorrow should just be cloudy with no rain, really. But then Sunday, a lot of rain expected. Saturday could be okay. You can get out and do stuff. Even with today's rain, I mean, the ground, we still have those drought conditions. I mean, we finally, getting out of the drought conditions, obviously, going through winter, getting a lot of rain, and now spring is coming, so you can see what the oak trees are doing. Those little future brown pollen things, that little brown little thing, those future things, they're growing on the oak trees right now. Oak trees drop their leaves, lots of new leaves, lots of those little pollen things growing. So no, spring is springing as we speak in Metro New Orleans. We're about to get a green out. So with the drought, today's rain is just needed and absorbed pretty quickly. It is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Michael Hecht joined us last hour from Greater New Orleans Inc. Coming up in less than 10 minutes, we'll go to the Carrollton section of Uptown, the Riverbend. Frank Brigtsen will join us. James Beard, award-winning chef, talking food with Frank Brigtsen. An audit by the Department of Housing and Urban Development's Office of Inspector General, auditing $141 million of federally funded flood prevention projects. Federally funded flood prevention projects to the tune of $141 million. 8 projects. When the audit was ended, 0 had started. That maybe is why they got jump-started and said we're breaking ground on Mirabeau Gardens a few months ago. 7 years later, the last 2 years of the Landrieu administration, all 5+ of Junket Cantrell, this audit reveals poor planning by the city of New Orleans, misallocation of funds, lack of workers. I say it with a question mark, exclamation point, question mark after it. Lack of workers? Couldn't hire construction companies that would then hire workers to dig retention ponds? Really? Federally funded. The money's in place. $141 million. We're talking flood protection and jobs, and the city did nothing. It's mind-blowing. It is criminal. It's sinful. It's just wrong. It's wrong. It's like the Municipal Auditorium redo. $38 million from FEMA. $38 million in 2005. What is $38 million going to do today? $38 million today, if that's what the project would have cost back then. First off, we would have got into the project like the Municipal Auditorium. You bust through a wall and you're like, oh my God, didn't know that was there. And it's another $5 million, $10 million, whatever. That's inevitable in any old building. So the $38 million would have ended, if we're doing it in 07, 08, 09, 15 years ago, it would have been $45 million, then $50. It would have ended up being a $68, $70 million project, all paid for by FEMA, Municipal Auditorium redone. Instead, we dragged our rear ends. $38 million. The project to redo that Municipal Auditorium, it's probably $200 million today. $200 million to redo that building. Got $38 million. You can redo the front door, 7 years, $141 million. Same thing with this. This is $141 million in retention pond projects, 8 projects from 7 years ago, pre-pandemic. 7 years of inflation, pandemic, everything's more expensive. The 8 projects, you probably can't do half for $141 million. It's probably about $300 million in projects. Again, dropping the ball. When the feds give you money, you spend it right away. You do it, and then you try to prove that it was great, it worked great, and try to go get more. This is retention ponds. They're going to work. It's gravity. They're going to work. Then you go to the feds and say, hey, we want $141 million more and dig 8 more projects. Really a bad dropped ball. Jobs, flood protection. And the audit says lack of workers. How many New Orleanians I know how to run a backhoe. I could go work for Bow Brothers or Woodward or whoever's doing this project. I can dig a hole with a shovel. I know how to lay PVC pipe, whatever. Unbelievable. Last night, Governor Jeff Landry, his task force to repair the Sewage and Water Board met. Public invited, lots of people, complaining about billing and all kind of problems. You live in Hollygrove, there's they turn on a certain turbine, you get oil all over your car and how it just shoots oil up in the air. So no, this is good. Keep an eye on Jeff Landry. I'm not a Jeff Landry fan, but we need change. Sewage and Water Board needs change. Crime in New Orleans, how we attack it needs change. Education, insurance, all of these things need change. Hey, every day this program on radio, television, we're live on YouTube, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's all brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner. The big store, Lamarck Ford, over 45 years. Lamarck Lincoln, #1 in Louisiana. And now Lamarck Crescent City Ford, the legendary truck dealership. Every day, the program brought to you by the Ronnie Lamarck Automotive Complex.
The gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us to you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Yeah. Corey Johnson back at you, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Hey, you know your Rouse's Markets, over 60 of them, best quality, best price, best selection. A month or so ago, the aroma of fresh baked king cakes, going blank there for a second. I'm like, Mardi Gras cakes. King cakes were baking at the Rouse's, like 20 different flavors. So the aroma of king cakes, no one sells more king cakes than Rouse's. Now it's shifted from the aroma of king cakes or Mardi Gras cakes to wonderful live by the sack crawfish that you can take home and boil yourself, or hot from the pot, ready to eat crawfish. That's really the aroma you're smelling. They've got crews at Rouse's boiling crawfish nonstop all day, hot from the pot, boiled crawfish, ready to eat at your Rouse's Market, or take them home live by the sack and boil them yourself. Best quality, best price, best selection. Price is coming down. Tastes like home. It's crawfish season at your Rouse's Markets. Corey Johnson with your Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Let's head to the Riverbend, the Carrollton section of Uptown. About a block and a half off of where St. Charles Avenue and Carrollton meet. We're going to River Road, Dante Street for over 38 years. Is it over 30 or coming up on 38? Frank Brigtsen joins us from a little Creole cottage in the Riverbend. What up, Frank?
Where you at, KJ? TGIF.
Yeah, you're right. I'm going to say it's a little shy of 38 years.
Nah, you're wrong. We made 38 years last week.
Oh, it's a little
March 6th.
Wow, just making it. Good. Happy birthday.
Thank you. We're very happy and grateful to be here.
Wow, March 6th, 38 years, Brigtsen's in the Riverbend area. That's amazing, Frank. Amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Almost 4 decades, man. Wow.
Yes, sir.
How many years at K. Paul's before that?
7.
How many years at Commanders before that?
0.5.
What?
0.5.
Literally, you were there 6 months?
Yep.
What did Ella Brennan, how did she influence you in 6 short months?
Oh, gosh. That was my culinary education. I worked every station in the house in those 6 months.
And then what? Paul Prudhomme left, opened K. Paul's, and took you with him?
He took me before he actually left. He asked me one day if I wanted to join him there, and I'd never heard of the place, honestly. And I just said, yes, chef.
Wow.
And, all these years later, it's all part of the process, part of my journey, and I'm very grateful for every second of it. To Miss Ella, Mr. Dick, Chef Paul, K. Prudhomme, all of them.
A lot of people don't know this. Some do. You've told the story before. So you're working 7 years at K. Paul's, and I guess you had an itch to maybe go out on your own, coupled with Paul Prudhomme sort of saying, I'll bring somebody else in and train them. You need to go somewhere else, and I'll even bankroll it for you.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. He had qualified chefs. Paul Miller was there at the time. Raymond Sutton, Stanley Jackson. And he had pulled me out my last year there and put me in purchasing. And in hindsight, I realized he was prepping me to go out on my own.
Wow.
And he remembered, in our initial interviews at Commander's Palace, he asked me one day, well, Frank, where do you see yourself in 10 years? What do you want out of life? And I said, I think I'd like to have my own little place one day. And he remembered that. And he and Kay sat me down one night and said, Frank, we think you're ready to go out on your own. And they bankrolled me and made it happen. We owe it all to them.
Which dishes at Brigtsen's have a Commander's Palace flair to them or angle? And which dishes at Brigtsen's have a K. Paul's flair or angle?
Well, the Commander's Palate lineage is your favorite dish, the flounder or speckled trout pecans. That's something that Chef Paul did at Commander's. One of his first moves on the menu was to change trout amandine to trout pecan because it was a local thing. We don't grow almonds here. We grow pecans.
Yep.
And that goes straight back to that. That was the first dish I tasted when I was working there. My first day, chef handed me a plate with a plate cover on it and said, here, Frank, taste this. And I went off in the corner and I opened it up and it was a trout pecan. I said, damn, this is the best thing I've had in my life.
Nice.
And that's where it comes from. Those memories, those emotional attachments. And this is my version of it. It's different, but it's the same idea.
What about from K. Paul's?
I would say blackened tuna. We still do tuna that way. When we stopped doing redfish at K. Paul's, we were experimenting with fresh tuna, which was a fairly new thing in the markets, although it's been around the Gulf forever. One of the purveyors had given us a whole tuna, and I had to cut it up, which I'd never done before. And so we said, let's try it. So we blackened it, and we tried it with the seafood seasoning first, and chef didn't like that. Didn't think it worked so well. And we tried it with this meat seasoning, and it was fantastic. And we blackened tuna from there on. And I still think it's the best way to cook fresh tuna.
Frank, I have no facts or information on this. No one has told me this story. There's no proof of it, but I believe it to be true. By golly, I think Big Boy Paul Prudhomme one late night was cooking some redfish in a flat iron skillet and fell asleep for a second at the counter, and then he woke up. Was like he smelled it burning and he flipped it, and then he's like, "I'm hungry. I'm eating this damn thing." And he cooked the other side and he ate it. And he said, you know what? This is really good with this burn. And that's how that evolved. I think he napped. It was late night. He passed out, woke up to it burning and said, I'm still hungry and I'm eating it, damn it.
It sounds like the time I almost burned my apartment down boiling eggs and fell asleep. No, that's not actually true. It sounds good.
I want to believe it.
Yeah, I know. But it was actually... we used to, at Commander's, we had a French range, which means there was no open burners. It was flat top cast iron. And we used to serve these 16-ounce New York strips, which were about 2 inches thick. And so we didn't put them on the broiler. We put them straight on that flat top. And they took a while, but they seared so beautifully.
Wow.
So Chef Paul... helped the Brennans design the opening menu for Mr. B's, which had one of the few wood-burning grills at the time. Cafe Sabisa had one. But he wanted to let Mr. Dick and Miss Ella taste what a wood-grilled redfish would taste like.
Wow.
And we didn't have that at Commander's, that equipment. So he did a redfish like we did the New York strip. He cooked it right on the French range top. And it was blackened, essentially. And that's where it kind of came from.
Nice.
It was so good.
Frank Brigtsen's with us.
Smoky flavor and stuff like that.
That smoky Mr. B's filet is good, huh?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
They do a damn good job. I don't know if Brennan's restaurant does a bad gumbo. I like the silver thing. They pour it out, in your front of you.
Serene.
Yeah, it's a good little touch.
Yeah, gumbo yaya.
Yep, that's a good touch.
Also chef's creation.
So you almost burned down the apartment in college doing eggs, huh?
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
My neighbor smelled it and started knocking on my door real loud and woke me up. I was asleep on the couch.
You know what my thing was? It'd be like Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'd be using the oven, and there'd be this black disc inside of it. And I realized, oh, yeah, I ordered a pizza Saturday night, stuck it in the oven to heat it up, passed out. Yep. Woke up Sunday. Oh, the oven's on. Let me turn it off. Didn't remember ordering the pizza, much less sticking it into the oven. And like 3 days later, there's just this black disc in there.
We're lucky we survived all that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
That's amazing. All right, yeah. Frank, you ready for the $100,000 question?
Yes, please.
It's just one word with a question mark on the end.
Do I get a lifeline?
You do. This is our lifeline. It's my lifeline. I'll try to use inflection to make the question mark at the end. Crawfish?
Funny you should ask, Corey. Let's mark this date, March 15th, the Ides of March. Today, we received our first delivery of peeled, fresh crawfish tails.
Holy smokes.
And honestly, I didn't know if we were going to see any this year. But they came in beautiful. This is the same company, Fleur de Lis, that I've been buying fresh crawfish tails from for 45 years or more. And they do it right. Really nice fresh tails with fat. And so we got our first little pop this morning, kind of a last-minute thing. So we're going to start small with them. We're going to put them on our seafood platter on the grilled redfish with a crawfish and pistachio lime sauce.
Wow.
Oh, my God. So good.
Nothing.
And as the weeks go on, we'll start incorporating them into other dishes. But, I got to thinking about it. Like I said, I wasn't sure if they were going to peel any. But, there's the live trade, the people that sell live crawfish, the farmers and distributors, et cetera. But the processors and the peelers, they got to make money too. So whether they have their own ponds, and they do sell a little bit of live, but their money's in the peeled tail. So, and they came in at a very, very reasonable price. $18.95 a pound wholesale, which is really reasonable for first batch of the year.
Frank, you say you're easing into it. Crawfish egg rolls, crawfish and corn soup, crawfish.
I've got the list in front of me.
Crawfish etouffee. What am I missing?
I've got your list in front of me.
I'm telling you, the egg roll. First off, just whatever you got going in the pan, the skillet for the egg roll before you roll the egg roll or fill the dough you've made, and before the dipping sauce from that finished product, you could just put that on a plate and I'll eat that. But then
we'll toss that with a little angel hair pasta and you'll be set, man.
Come on, exactly, over a little rice or something, and then or nothing. Good. I'll eat it just like that. But you stuff it in that little crust and flash fry that bad boy, and then you have a dipping sauce too.
A honey Chinese mustard sauce for dipping sauce. That's so good. We'll get going with them.
And the crawfish and corn soup, boy, that was maybe the best soup I've ever eaten.
Well, by next Tuesday, it'll be a week-by-week thing, but next Tuesday would be the next delivery from our supplier, and we'll see what the availability is going to be, and if it's good and steady, we'll incorporate it in.
True story. I go to Brigtsen's. I'm sitting in there. I get the crawfish etouffee appetizer. About 3 days later, I order 2 of them to go, and that was my dinner because that was just unbelievable.
So good.
Yep. Am I missing any crawfish dishes that you do at Brigtsen's?
I think that's enough to get started, don't you think?
Are you kidding me? I'm excited. I'm glad it's starting. Hopefully it continues. That's great news.
We could do crawfish bread pudding for dessert if you like.
Wow, anything. Put crawfish in that
crawfish pie for dessert. Crawfish pie for
what's
dessert.
the cornbread? You could put some crawfish in the cornbread.
Yeah, actually that will be the next thing. on our seafood platter. We're doing shrimp cornbread, jalapeno shrimp cornbread right now with the smoked corn butter. But that will switch to crawfish probably next week if the tails are there.
Now, Frank, I'm assuming because you're like a big fan of butter, and I know what your whipped cream's all about. I'm not going to mention the local restaurant's a chef. You're friends with him. You've known him for decades. I think it's whatever they wanted to do. They have cornbread on the menu. I get it. It was just like bland. And I was like, is there a problem with cornbread? They're like, no. I'm like, it's not sweet. And they're like, we don't put sugar in our cornbread. I'm like, okay, that's a problem. So that Jiffy stuff from like Pittsburgh, I think, from like Pennsylvania, I like that stuff, but I think you got to have sugar in your cornbread. I'm assuming your cornbread has sugar in it.
Yes, absolutely.
What's that? What's that all about? No sugar in the cornbread. That just seems. Is that like a real basic fundamental cornbread, like where sugar wasn't available?
Well, I think I like a little sugar in there. Not a lot. It's not a sweet cornbread, but like ours, for instance, it has balance. It has a little sugar, but it also has some finely chopped fresh jalapeno.
Yep.
So you get that sweet heat thing, and we use half corn flour, half corn meal, not the package mix. And so it's gluten-free also. Buttermilk, butter, green onions, I think is important for me in there. And either sauteed shrimp or sauteed crawfish. And then we top that with a little disc of smoked corn butter. Oh, my gosh.
Hey, Frank, I know you got to run. It's Lent. What do you suggest if folks are coming to Brigtsen's this weekend or next week?
Well, the seafood platter is always a splurge, so you get a little bit of everything. The flounder meuniere, we're getting nice flounders, fillets right now. And then the blackened tuna. I mean, that's a Brigtsen's signature dish, really. It's been on the menu since the early 90s, and it's just as good to me as it was then. Blackened tuna, a nice thick steak with smoked corn sauce, black bean chipotle salsa, and drizzled with a little roasted red pepper sour cream.
What if
mashed potato and veg?
What if you're not a Catholic or whatever, observing Lent, or you're a Catholic and you're a bad boy like me, not observing Lent? What would you suggest? Like the veal, maybe?
Yeah, I would say either the veal or the pork chop. The sauteed veal with oysters, mushrooms, brie red peppercorn sauce. Delightful. And then the pork chop pan roasted with apple cider pan gravy, sweet and sour red cabbage, and my mom's warm German potato salad.
Wow.
I told a customer last night who got that, I said, if you need another one, it's on me.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're hungry, I'll give you another one.
Right. Yep. Hey, any openings tonight or tomorrow night at Brigtsen's?
I think tomorrow might have a little pop on the second turn. The weather may have created some change tonight, but I doubt it. But give us a call for next week. We got some exciting new things coming up with crawfish.
I like that. They're open.
Also, next week, we're going to change our duck sauce to tart dried cherry sauce. Roast duck, crispy half duck, tart dried cherry sauce, dirty rice.
So from the orange to the cherry.
Correct.
And just a few more weeks of the seafood gumbo, and we'll be back to Paul Prudhomme's andouille sausage and the chicken.
Yes. Typically on sometimes on Easter week, I'll do gumbo zerb. So I'm thinking about doing that. So that'll be kind of a transition.
Like a Dookie Chase thing?
Similar, very similar. Has about 7 different greens in it. I use a turkey stock, medium brown roux, and I put the turkey meat and some ham in mine.
Wow.
It's delicious. But I puree mine. Not with the meats, but the greens and all that is pureed. So there's a really, really nice texture.
If you did the meat, it wouldn't be a soup. It'd be a bisque.
Yes. I put the meat in at the end.
I'm learning, Frank.
You are quite the chef, Corey Johnson.
I'm learning it from you. Like the BA, best available.
Yes, sir.
That's the best. 861, best thing I ever heard. Frank doesn't go, hey, we're having trout on the menu. Frank goes to the seafood purveyor and goes, what's the freshest stuff you got? And that dictates the menu. I used to go get a steak. I'm like, I want a New York strip tonight. I go to the grocery, Rouse's, wherever, and I'm looking in the case. I'm like, the ribeyes look better, so I'm getting a ribeye instead. Why would I? So BA, best available. Another tip I got from Frank Brigtsen. 861-7610 is the number at Brigtsen's. 861-7610. They're open Tuesday through Saturday night from 5 until about 8:30, and they have to-go orders. Get anything off the menu to go about 20 minutes. 861-7610. We missing anything, Frank?
That's it. We love you, New Orleans. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Go catch a cabbage.
That's Frank Brigtsen. We're holding you to the crawfish stuff.
I know you are, too.
You bet. Thanks, Frank.
Thank you, Corey.
That's Frank Brigtsen joining us from his restaurant, 861-7610. You know, first I'll put that in your phone. A lot of you, like me, like you, most of us might have that like neighborhood restaurant, that go-to restaurant. You go maybe once a week. You can go anytime. It's always available. It's always solid. It's always good. If it's Friday or Saturday night and that's in your plans, call Brigtsen's before you walk out the door or 30 minutes before and just be like, hey, any cancellations, any openings? They might be like, yes. And then you beeline down there instead. So they have cancellations on a Friday and Saturday night. Frank said they had some openings tomorrow night, Tuesday through Saturday night. Brigtsen's, 861-7610, 861-7610. I mean, last year, I've been in New Orleans for decades and decades, my entire life, 5+ decades, going on 6. Isn't that neat how it works, Joe? Your 3-year-old's going on 4. Anyway, he's not going on 5. Don't skip a year, even during leap year, even like this year. Anyway, all this time in New Orleans, and last year I go to La Boca Steakhouse to go get, it's an Argentine steakhouse, and Adolfo Garcia just knows what he's doing. So they have New York strip, they have ribeye, they have a filet. Their number one seller is the filet because conventioneers and tourists, they come in and they get the filet. But the folks that know what La Boca is about in Argentine steakhouse, you want to get like the flank steak or the skirt steak, something like that. And it's fantastic, sliced up, just wonderful, full of flavor. And like the best at it, what it is, how they do it. So anyway, they have these crawfish empanadas. I'm like, I'm gonna try that. Empanada is just like a little fried pie. These crawfish empanadas full of fresh Louisiana tails. You can see just all different sizes. The single greatest crawfish pie I've ever eaten in my life. There's a place in Abbeville called Weeda's. They're still there. She changed the name. I forget what she changed the name to. She has some tremendous frozen crawfish pies. They're incredible. I might call the former Weeda's. Let me see. I've got it in my phone. So you can call them yourself and order some. It's in Abbeville, so it's about 2 hours away. I've literally driven with ice chests with dry ice to pick up the crawfish. Let me see if I can find that number. Because this place is good. Well, that might be it. Yep. It might be Cynthia's Crawfish Pies now.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's in Abbeville, the old Ouida's, O-U-I-D-A, Ouida's. And those are incredible. It's almost like a pizza dough. They blob the orange crawfish etouffee looking stuff in the middle and then just fold over the dough. So there's like a hole in the middle because it's folded over. You bake it in the oven at 400 for about 40 minutes. It's outstanding. But the empanada, which is a gourmet-driven chef, it's fresh, made, each day, every night, made to order. I went into La Boca and got like a skirt steak and got the empanada appetizer. It was so good. I'm not making this up. Like 3 days later, I went in and I got the hanger and I got the crawfish empanada appetizer. And then the following week, I called La Boca and on the phone, I ordered 2 crawfish appetizers to go, brought them home, and that was my dinner. So they're like, here's the crawfish empanada, dude. I literally ordered that 3 times in about a 2-week period because it was the best damn crawfish pie I've ever had. It's just outstanding. And it's seasonal. And then I go to Brigtsen's last year, and the egg roll I've had there for a few years. It's incredible. The crawfish and corn soup, first time I ever had it was last year at Brigtsen's, blew my doors off. I'm like, one of the best soups I've ever had in my life. And then Frank Brigtsen's crawfish etouffee. It's not brown, and it's brown, I should say, not orange. It's rich. It's chef-driven. It's fabulous. Sadly, crawfish etouffee, jambalaya, fried shrimp, most places screw this stuff up. It's not like it's bad. It's just like it's not good. It's boring. I'm like drudging through this, brown rice and little diamonds of, sausage, and it's, jambalaya. And I'm eating crawfish etouffee. It's just like tomatoey and, crawfish from who knows where. Just kind of boring. It's like I don't even want it. Frank Brigtsen's crawfish etouffee, I was like, my God, just blow your brain, just implode. Incredible. So 3 crawfish dishes at my age I discovered in New Orleans. 2 at Brigtsen's last year. The etouffee, which I ordered as an appetizer. A few days later, I ordered 2 appetizers to go for dinner. The crawfish and corn soup, ate it at the restaurant, called Frank, got a quart of it to go about 3 days later. I'm not making any of this up. Incredible. And I'm going to call La Boca and see if they've got the crawfish empanada. They might be like Frank. Last week, no crawfish. This week, crawfish. I called La Boca last week. They're like, not yet. We still have that chef in the back. She's going to make them again. Waiting on the crawfish. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. Thanks so much for joining us. Part of New Orleans, all that stuff I'm talking about, like Leidenheimer French bread. Leidenheimer Baking Company has been in New Orleans since 1896, over 125 years. They've been baking their famous Leidenheimer French bread at Leidenheimer's Baking Company in New Orleans since 1896. And that French bread, for generations, for over a century, a mainstay in some of the city's finest restaurants. And if you're eating an authentic New Orleans-style po' boy, roast beef, oyster, shrimp, it's got to be Leidenheimer French bread. Truly good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread, Leidenheimer Baking Company.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our Top Bench and More exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson back at you. Lebanon's Cafe is open till 9:30 tonight. Outdoor dining at Lebanon's Cafe. Lamb chops at Lebanon's Cafe. Shish kebab. And all your favorite Middle Eastern sides. Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn. Why don't you make it over to Lebanon's Cafe? You will not be disappointed. Last night, Governor Jeff Landry held the second task force meeting open to the public to, redo, fix the Sewerage and Water Board. Lots of complaints from the public. This is all good. But I can't stress enough, and it leads to this next story. We could have the best Sewage and Water Board ever, and it's an inch of rain the first hour, a half inch after that. We're the only city in America where we have to pump the water out. Other cities just have drainage systems, gravity. We have to literally pump the water out of the bowl. So we need retention ponds all over the city. That's the only solution. The Sewage and Water Board, state of the art. Joe Biden decides to jump billions into it, like a few billion. Everything's brand new, state of the art. Inch an hour, half inch after that. Maybe some slight improvements to that, but we get a 3, 4, 5 inch deluge in an hour or 90 minutes, and the city floods. With retention ponds, it would not. It would have to be just some rare rain event. They could literally have a plan of retention ponds, and they would know how many inches the city could handle. Now, here's the absolute sad part. The feds did an audit, the Department of Housing and Urban Development's Office of Inspector General. The feds say New Orleans, with that $141 million, it's a grant. It's federally funded, basically a grant. Federally funded flood protection projects. This is from 7 years ago. 8 retention pond projects. Essentially, one has been started, Mirabeau Gardens, just started. None, 0 completed. 7 others not even started. The audit says poor planning by the city, misallocation of funds by the city, lack of workers was one of the excuses from the city. Lack of workers. Couldn't hire a construction company that's going to hire workers? No, it's just unorganized, disorganized, no planning. Thank goodness for this audit. Here's the sad part. It's $141 million from 7 years ago. It's like the $38 million in FEMA money for the municipal auditorium. That's 2006 money. It's 2024. What's $38 million 18 years later? To redo the municipal auditorium, first off, they get into it with the $38 million. They're going to bust down a wall. They're going to find something major behind that wall that's millions to fix. So the $38 million redo 15 years ago is going to end up being 40, 50, 60 million plus. Might be 70 million when they're done. 15 years ago. Today, it's north of $100 million bucks to redo the municipal auditorium. So the 38 million's nowhere near what's needed. FEMA's not going to, hey, let's keep inflation. It's a miracle the 38's still available. Supposed to be spent over a decade ago. The feds, 8 projects, retention ponds, $141 million. That's 7 years ago money. 7 years of inflation, throw in the coronavirus crisis and everything's more expensive. You probably can't do half the projects for the 141. It's probably about $300 million for 8 projects. Federally funded, the money in place, no flood projects, retention ponds dug, and the jobs for New Orleanians. The jobs. Just sad, the dysfunction in this city. So no, when folks are freaking out about Jeff Landry and all that, again, I'm no fan of Jeff Landry. But change is needed because this is beyond unacceptable. Money from the feds, retention pond projects from 7 years ago, and none of them done. Hey, if you need AC or heat help over the weekend, River City's Total Maintenance is there. I love these guys. I've been friends with Lucas now. I mean, he was a stranger. We became friends. He's fair and honest. I refer him to people on the radio. I refer him to friends and family. My mom, my brother, my sister, they all use Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys in River City's Total Maintenance. Air conditioning and heating experts that come right now. Weekday, weekend, holiday, overnight. Your AC or heat isn't working? NOLAAC.com. That's all you need to know. You need heater AC help? NOLAAC.com. Even this guy knows. What's that, Blue Boy? If you need AC or heat help, what? No, what? What do you mean, no? NOLAAC.com, of course. Sorry, Blue Boy, you were speaking fast. What? You're ready for a walk and some kibble? Hustle home. Okay, buddy. Have a great weekend, everyone.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.